Hey everybody, Captain Lou here with another Extravagant Few Minutes live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. And of course on our Facebook page, which is the Captain Lou Extravaganza, and on X at the Real Captain Lou. We invite you to follow us on those pages as well. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Captain Lou Sports Network. We've got all of our great programming live and archived, these Extravagant Few Minutes episodes. The Extravaganza with yours truly and my tag team partner, Mitch Bernstein. We've got another live program lined up for you this Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And at the end of this Extravagant Few Minutes episodes, we got a great announcement planned for you, a special announcement. And of course, the ACHA Power Play Season 10 rolling along. The road to St. Louis and the ACHA National Championships. Puck drop for the beginning of the national championships is 11 days away. March the 12th. It's here already. And we've got a great show planned for you on March 11th, live from St. Louis, from the venue, the Centene Ice Center, where we're going to go through all 5 divisions, get you prepped. We'll give you our predictions, you name it. That's our next episode of the ACHA Power Play, March the 11th, the eve of the national championships. Stay tuned for the guests that we're going to have lined up for you right here on our social media outlets and, of course, on the Captain Lou Sports Network. So, again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You get all of that great programming and a whole lot more coming up. We've got some huge things planned for you this year. It's going to be bigger and better than ever here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. So make sure you stick around and find out all that's going on here on the network. And a reminder that this Extravagant Few Minutes episode and all of our programming is brought to you by the official secondary market of the Captain Lou Sports Network, and that is SeatGeek. Use the promo code Captain Lou, and you get $20 off of your purchase. If there's a game you want to go to, so many big games coming up, March Madness around the corner, conference tournaments in the NCAA men's and women's basketball, go to SeatGeek. Use the promo code Captain Lou. You get $20 off your purchase. The NBA and NHL stretch drive is coming up. The Stanley Cup Playoffs are going to be here before you know it. They're going to be here in about 6 weeks. There's an NBA game, NHL game you want to go to. Use the promo code Captain Lou at SeatGeek. Get $20 off of your purchase. It's free money. Why not? A lot of great games coming up. Major League Baseball opening day is less than a month away. Spring training games, you name it. Go to SeatGeek. Use the promo code Captain Lou, and you get $20 off of your purchase. It is that simple. All right. Before we get started, just want to say, I know it's been a while since we've been on, took some time away, been very busy. We talked about it with the ACHA, with the national tournaments, national championships coming up. Been involved with the regional tournaments in men's D2, really kind of focused on that. And of course, our men's Division I preview show that Liberty University hosted, and was so humbled and blessed to be a part of that, being asked to be on that show. Check out Liberty's Facebook page, Liberty, their broadcast Facebook page for that preview show. So much fun with them. They do such an amazing job down there. And again, humbled to be a part of that program as we get set for the ACHA National Championships. Again, coming up March the 11th, or March the 12th, rather, 2026, all 5 divisions in St. Louis. So, yeah, and some personal business to take care of. Been traveling a lot, and we had a little vacation time. So, yeah, but we're back. And again, we got a special announcement at the end of this Extravagant Few Minutes episode. I think you're going to like it. And we're going to go full bore coming up real soon. So stay tuned for that. The big news this morning, though, here in the Michigan area, in the Detroit area, the rumors running rampant. David Montgomery, one of the Sonic and Knuckles. Of course, he's the Knuckles brand of that running back duo. The rumors are rampant that he wants out of Detroit. Now, he took to social media and saying he didn't hear those rumors. But who do you believe anymore in social media? Jeremy Fowler from ESPN reported that he wants out. You know, everybody's talking about what could Detroit get for him in the trade market. All this news coming out of the NFL Combine this past week. Everybody's saying maybe a 5th-round pick. Do they need the cap space? What is the cap hit? Boy, I'd hate to see Demo go. I think he's a great asset to the Detroit Lions. But now you got to start thinking about all the players that they want and they need to re-sign. Laporta, Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, just to name a few. I mean, Jack Campbell. I mean, there's a lot of question marks. This is such a big year for the Lions. The Lions coming off a couple of playoff seasons. They didn't make it this past year. This is such a pivotal year for the Lions. But with Demo, now, is he requesting a trade? Is he going to be in the future plans of Detroit? He's 28 years old. I know for a running back, that's not the best time. I don't know. These are one of the questions the Lions are going to have to face with the draft coming up, with free agency coming up, looming around the corner, the official NFL calendar year kicking off here towards the end of March. So many questions, and he's one of the big question marks. I'll tell you, Brad Holmes, he's in a position now. The honeymoon's over in Detroit. We talked about it earlier this year. The honeymoon is over in Detroit. Now, the expectations are at a level that the Lions really have never been in my lifetime. In the 60 years that I've been on the earth, the Lions are a winning culture right now. That's something we've never been able to say. So now the emphasis is going to be on Brad Holmes. Can they keep this Lion culture going, this winning culture? And Demo on the trade block. Is he really on the trading block? Are they going to trade him? What can they get for him? This is one of the questions now. The expectations are there for the Lions. Do you want Demo out? Is it really going to be so that he gets traded? And what is the asking price? What is a legitimate asking price? Is his salary cap hit really that big? No, I've seen 3.9 million. I've seen 6 million. Is that hit worth getting rid of him? Is he going to accept the lesser role? Because Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously the premier back now in Detroit, and you need the depth. But is it worth keeping Demo around? Is he going to stay happy? Who knows? So we'll keep an eye on that. On his social media page, the one thing that I didn't notice is how he came out and said he wants to stay in Detroit. All he said is, who told you that? So many things to read into this with this rumor going out today that Demo wants to be traded. Brad Holmes, the honeymoon is over. We got to keep this winning culture something. Again, in my lifetime, in a lot of people's lifetimes, Detroit has never had expectations of going to the Super Bowl. We were so close a few years ago. Was it a pipe dream? Was it a one-off? Well, this is all part of it. With so many players left to sign, this is such a pivotal year for Detroit. And it starts off now with these Demo rumors. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, the Red Wings last night lost a tough one to Carolina. Carolina, one of the best home teams in all the NHL. They started Cam Talbot in goal last night, but it wasn't a very good performance for the Red Wings. And what about Todd McClellan afterwards, calling out some of the players? If you haven't seen it, check out social media. I shared it on my Twitter feed at The Real Captain Lou. He's pretty much saying, hey, some of these players are just here wearing jerseys, not giving their full effort. Was this kind of a subtle hint at Steve Yzerman? The trade deadline is looming, coming up Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Will Detroit make a move this year? Will they make that big splash on defense? Lord knows Detroit could use another defenseman. They could always use another defenseman. Could they use another left-handed shot? They could, obviously, anybody would. But is Detroit going to make that move? And did Todd McClellan kind of send a little hint to Steve Yzerman of what needs to be done? And then you ask yourself, with the year that the Grand Rapids Griffins have had, do they bring Sebastian Cossa up permanently as a backup now? As I don't think Cam Talbot's the answer. John Gibson has done yeoman's work for the Red Wings, but he can't play every game. So is it worth it to leave Cossa down in the minors, maybe get a championship with the Griffins with a Calder Cup run? They're already in the playoffs, or do you bring them up? What's the emphasis right now? So this is, again, questions that the Red Wings need to answer. Right now, they're still in a playoff position. They've got the number one wild card seed in the NHL at 74 points. They've got a 5-point lead with games in hand. We'll go through the NHL standings here momentarily, but questions to be asked with the trade deadline looming this Friday at 3 o'clock. And again, the Red Wings heading into March. We all know what's happened the last few years with the Red Wings, that March swoon that they're famous for when they've been in a playoff spot before, when they've started out hot. This is the year they've obviously got to keep the momentum going. And will the trade deadline help them? We'll keep an eye on that as well. How about the Pistons? The best team still now, not just in the Eastern Conference, but in the NBA, 44-14. Yeah, they had a loss the other night against San Antonio at home, but then they rebounded to beat the OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder. And I know the Thunder didn't start, their top 5 guys, which, of course, in my opinion, is a problem in the NBA. It's not just with the Thunder, it's with everybody. We could talk for an hour and a half about the tanking, about the load management crap that goes on in the NBA. It really, I know it's a grind. I know it's a long year, but it's a problem in the NBA. But that doesn't take away the shine from the Pistons. 44-14, one hell of a comeback win over Cleveland on Friday night, where they looked like they were dead in the water, made that comeback, won in overtime. Now they've got Orlando coming up tonight. The Pistons 44-14 with a 5.5 game lead in the NBA in the Eastern Conference, and they've got a 1-game lead in the loss column over the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. I know that probably may not last, but hey, right now the Pistons are the best team in the East. Are they the best team in the NBA? That remains to be seen. I know the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to have a lot to say about that. But you know what? You can call yourselves the best in the East, and in my opinion, they are the best team in the East. Let's take a look at those NBA standings real quick, as we've got the Pistons with that 5.5 game lead over the Boston Celtics in the East, 7 games over the Knicks, 8.5 over the Cleveland Cavaliers after that win, 10 over the Raptors, 11.5 over the Philadelphia 76ers. And they've got an 18-game lead over the Milwaukee Bucks for the last playoff spot. If they were to make an epic collapse, I don't see that happening. I think the Red Wings or the Pistons rather, are a solid top 1 or 2 seed in the NBA's Eastern Conference. And in the West, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder with a 2-game lead over the San Antonio Spurs, 5-game lead over the Houston Rockets, and 8-game lead over the Houston Rockets, 8.5 over the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. The Lake Show in 6th place with a 1.5 game lead for that last spot before you worry about the play-in round in the NBA. All right, let's take a look at the NHL standings. And we talked about the Red Wings. Well, the Lightning, they've got the best record in the Atlantic Division. The best record in the conference goes to the Carolina Hurricanes. They've won 5 straight. They have taken over the top spot over the Lightning. The Sabres right now have the 2nd spot, the Canadiens, the 3rd spot in the Atlantic Division. The Red Wings right now are the top wild card team. The Buffalo Sabres they've each played the even amount of games. Detroit, again, 2 points behind that. But the big tie break is the regular season wins and regulation wins, and Buffalo's got 29, where Detroit only has 23. Montreal, with a game in hand on Detroit, has a 1-point lead, but Detroit would have the tie break on them when it comes to regulation wins with 23-22. Boston right now, with a game in hand on Detroit, they are 3 points behind with the 2nd wildcard spot. And the Washington Capitals, 5 points behind Detroit, but the Red Wings have 2 games in hand on them. The Columbus Blue Jackets, 2 games in hand on the Red Wings, but 8 points back in the playoff race. Do you get all that? I know we still have 6 weeks to go, but it's starting time to think about it, especially, again, with the trade deadline coming here soon, Friday at 3 o'clock. And in the Western Conference, the Avalanche, still the top team in the NHL with 87 points. They've cooled off a little bit, if you can cool off with a 39-10-9 record. They've got a 6-point lead now over the Dallas Stars, who've won 8 straight. They're at 36-14-9. They've got a game in Colorado still with a game in hand on them. Then the Minnesota Wild with 80 points and 60 game played. The Vegas Golden Knights, they've got the best record right now in the Pacific Division. But the crazy thing is, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs right now if they were in the Eastern Conference. 28-17-14, 70 points. Anaheim behind them, 3 points. The Edmonton Oilers, they're at 66 points. Utah is tied with Edmonton, but they've got 2 games in hand on the Edmonton Oilers for 3rd spot. The Mammoth looking pretty good. And the Kraken as well, a 2-game lead, or 2 games in hand on the Edmonton Oilers. And here's a crazy thing to keep an eye on right now. I know it's early, and I know there's 6 weeks or so left of the regular season, but if the playoffs were to start today, Seattle, they've got they're 2 games in hand on Edmonton. And Nashville right now, they've got 2 games in hand on Edmonton. They're only 4 points behind them for a playoff spot. So Crazy to think that Edmonton is teetering not only on making the playoffs in the division, but a wild card spot. So a whole lot to play for. 6 weeks left to go in the regular season. This is where it's going to get so exciting in the NHL playoffs. All right, let's get you going now. How about the Big Ten championship? It belongs to the Michigan Wolverines. They clinched it this past Friday night with a win on the road at Illinois. Huge win for them. 2 games left. They got a 3-game lead over Nebraska, 3.5 over Michigan State. So Michigan clinching the regular season championship with 2 games left to go. Michigan State, they got a big game this afternoon against Indiana, 3:45 on CBS. Indiana is playing for their playoff life, the NCAA tournament lives, really. They're on the bubble right now, in my opinion. I haven't really looked at Joe Lunardi's brackets or the Ken Palm or whatever. I can just see by the eye test. But this is a big home game coming up for Indiana against the team that's in 3rd place right now in the Big Ten, Michigan State. And with that conference tournament coming up next week, being in 3rd place gets you a triple bye in the Big Ten tournament. That's big because then you don't have to play 4 games in 4 days to win the Big Ten tournament. And, you know, a lot of people don't like these conference tournaments anymore, and I don't blame them, which begs the question that I have to ask. What's a bigger deal to you? Winning the regular season championship in your conference, be it the Big Ten, the ACC, SEC, Big 12, whatever, Big East, or winning the conference tournament? Now, the conference tournament champions get the automatic berth in the Big Ten. Not that that matters. But let's just say you're a team that's the 8th or 9th seed. You've got to play 5 games in 5 days just to win the Big Ten tournament. Then you turn around 3 days later and you're playing in the dance Thursday or Friday. Or in some instances, if you're a long shot, let's say in Indiana or in Ohio State, you might have to play in that play-in round on Tuesday or Wednesday as an 11 seed, which I think is ridiculous in itself. But that's another argument for another time. So, you know, what emphasis do you put on with a Big Ten, with a conference championship? I know personally I'd rather have the regular season championship, and I'm not saying it because I'm a Michigan fan, full disclosure, and they won the regular season title. There's been years Michigan State has won it, and they've lost the tournament, and that doesn't really matter. And again, you're playing back to back to back to back, 4 games in 4 days, sometimes 5, maybe 3 if you've got that triple bye. So it begs the question, how are your sea legs going into the NCAA tournament? So that's a question that I really kind of always ask myself. So that's something to think about. While we're thinking about questions, here's another one. The World Baseball Classic starts this week. Did you know that? Do you care about it? As a baseball fan, a casual baseball fan, a diehard baseball fan like I am, or just a sports fan in general, do you really care about the World Baseball Classic? It starts this week. You know, with the Olympics just getting over, are you kind of fatigued with that? But even if it wasn't an Olympic year, do you really care about the World Baseball Classic? Baseball season doesn't start, well, it starts technically the end of March now with the opening weekend. And then April is usually the signal for Major League Baseball to start. Is this overkill? Does it matter? Should they do like maybe the NHL and the Olympics, do it maybe in July to give the teams a break? I personally don't care. I'm not going to watch any of it because we've got March Madness. I've got my ACHA Hockey National Championships. Then we've got, the focus on the Stanley Cup Finals or the Stanley Cup Playoffs, the NBA playoffs. Does anybody really care about the World Baseball Classic? That's a great question. I know I don't. What about you? Do you really care? We're going to put that poll up, by the way, on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page and on Twitter or X. So I'd love to hear your response on that as well. Finally, here's another question for you. It's happy March 1st. Happy March 1st, everybody. Here's my question to you. When is it spring to you? Is it March 1st? Has it already started for you with spring training opening? How about, is it March Madness when that starts, when the brackets begin in 2.5 weeks or whatever it is? Or is it when the Masters commences in April? Or is it the NHL and NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, and NBA playoffs? When is your personal start to spring? Mine really is March Madness, I think. Spring training starting in February. Yeah, I always say spring's around the corner. But where we live here in Michigan and a lot of parts of the country, we still have snow on the ground. So, I mean, growing up in the Upper Peninsula, we had snow till May 1st. So, to me, really, it's when March Madness starts. I know that's when the official start of spring is anyways, but that tells me spring is around the corner. We used to play golf. I've already gotten around to golfing in February when I visited my stepson. But what is your official start of spring? Is it any one of these or is it something else? This is another question we're going to have on our Facebook page on the Captain Lou Extravaganza. Would love to see you weigh in to find out when your official start to spring really is. So, yeah, just kind of something fun here. All right, we're going to end an extravagant few minutes here this morning, or this afternoon, rather. Thank everybody for joining us. Just a little bit of an announcement, kind of an exciting announcement. The Captain Lou Extravaganza is going to move to weekday mornings starting April 6th. 11 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to have at least 3 days a week until the Stanley Cup and the NBA playoffs start. Then we're going to be daily, 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. We're going to expand it. It's a lot logistically. It's going to be attainable for me because I'm going to be retiring from my quote unquote day job. So I'm really fired up to bring this. This is something that I've been looking forward to doing. We're resting up, if you will, right now. I'm still going to be taking a lot of time away from this show now because of the ACHA National Tournament coming up March 12th. I'm heavily involved with the ACHA doing play-by-play down in St. Louis. It's a 10-day event, and it's such a great atmosphere down there working with the ACHA, their 35th year, and really, again, fired up to do that. But once that's over, March Madness will be hitting. We'll be doing some extravagant few minutes episodes, in the evenings or whatever. But just so fired up to bring you this announcement that the Captain Lou Extravaganza will be moving to mornings starting April 6th. We're going to go 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. We're going to go 3 days a week the first couple of weeks just to get our sea legs going. And then we're going to go daily, Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to have great guests lined up. We're going to get you updated on everything going on in the world of sports. Really looking forward to that, kind of spreading our wings out. Excited to be able to do that. And again, we're going to keep up our great guests that we have lined up on the show. And we're going to get more for you. And it's going to be right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. So another reason for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Captain Lou Sports Network. NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs coming around. We're going to talk Masters, Major League Baseball, and, of course, the NFL and college football. That's a 12-month-a-year gig is now their season with all the off-season stuff. Plenty to talk about. We're going to be your source. I'm really excited to be able to bring that on a daily basis, and we're going to look forward to doing that starting on April 6th, that Monday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time. All right, that's going to do it here for this extravagant few minutes episode here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. We want to thank everybody for welcoming us into your homes, on your computers, on your laptops, on your iPhones, however you watch us around the world here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Until next time, Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your mind.